Home now to lock in this limited time offer.
Don't you wish that you had a nickel for every time either you have asked someone or someone has said to you, hey, do you know a good mechanic? We all say it multiple times a week. So this morning you're in luck because you're watching our show. And who do we have but Ben Spears, who has Import Motorworks, Motorworks in the Ottawa area. Good to see you.
Thank you.
I got tongue-tied because I was too focused on getting to some of the key points of you, besides the fact that you're honest.
Thank you.
You're also very creative, so you know that often what people come to you for, besides your honest assessment of their car, is the longevity of the relationship that they have with you.
Of course.
So you've done something kind of creative for the fall season. You're doing something called a pumpkin spice oil change
service. That's correct.
So what does that look like?
So I love it because it's a benefit for everyone. The pumpkin spice oil change service is not only an oil change service, it's a complete vehicle inspection service. So when you bring your car in for the oil change, we actually spend an extra 20 to 30 minutes with it, go over it from top to bottom, and look at every aspect of it. We pull trouble codes, we check for all fluid leaks, we check belts, hoses, brakes, fluid leaks, any of that stuff, all of it. And we give you a diagnostic printout with recommendations for current needs, future needs, things you may not need for another year or two. But it gives you a complete status of your vehicle. Not only that, it's a great deal. Our 7-quart full synthetic oil change starts at $89.95 for that pumpkin spice oil change, and you get a gift card to Scooter's Coffee for a free latte or whatever you want.
Right.
So it's really cool.
That's okay. You mentioned the synthetic oil change. If it's a newer car, it's going to take a synthetic oil change, right?
Yes.
And people, I think, have sometimes thought, well, you don't have to go synthetic. It affects the longevity of your car.
It does on a molecular level. If you think of oil that way, the synthetic oil, when you break it down, the particles inside of it are like ball bearings, and they're all the same size. They're synthetic, so it's a much slicker oil. It's less viscosity or friction creating, so it lasts longer. It does eventually break down. It still gets dirty and turns black, like like conventional oil. It doesn't need to be changed. But while it's in there, it lubricates so much better, and that's why all the manufacturers have gone to it. It prolongs the life of the engine, for sure.
So at Import Motorworks, you are primarily European imports, but you will see other types of cars. But I've had a chance to eavesdrop on some conversations with you because you've been in the building a few times lately. So I've been at my desk just kind of listening in as Ben talks. First of all, you love what you do.
I do.
One of the things you love is that because you do trust your own work so much, you put a warranty behind it. 36,000 miles, 3 years.
3 years,
on most
yep.
everything that y'all do.
Yep, that's nationwide.
And so what that means is if the work is done here and you find yourself in Oklahoma, you'll still help them with it.
Of course. If anything we did, say we put an alternator on a car or something and you're in Oklahoma and the alternator goes out, you can make one phone call to me or our 1-800 number through our warranty company, a certified auto program, and it's taken care of, parts and labor. So take it to any shop.
Okay, something else that you do, obviously Volkswagen is in our own backyard, so you do a lot with them, a lot with Audi, but you were educating me on the minis, Mini anything, and that you are the only one in our area who services those. Right now people are having to go to Atlanta and Knoxville and places. Is
That's
that
true.
right?
Our local, since Mini is owned by BMW, our local BMW dealership doesn't service Minis. They actually refer them to us, so that the Mini clientele locally here doesn't have to go to Knoxville or Birmingham.
Right.
We're way more convenient. So, and we're going to provide a better warranty than a dealership typically.
Okay, so it's an unfair question to ask you because everything is dependent on what you see under that hood, and I get that. But for a long time, people used to be afraid to buy a foreign car, especially a European foreign car, for fear that they were going to have to spend a lot on the repairs.
Sure.
Is that still a valid concern?
You're not driving a Pinto anymore, are you? I will say this: the the import cars at the moment aren't having the issues that the domestics are with the labor strikes and everything going on. So
True.
We have not been affected with our part supplies like the local domestic shop has. I know they're struggling with that.
Yeah, well, that's a very fair point to make, because it doesn't matter that you can do the work, you can't do it if you can't get the parts.
It's a big problem for sure.
The fact that you are so hyper-focused on the European models means that there's almost nothing that can come your way that you haven't seen a time or two.
We've seen a little bit of everything. It's a lot of variety, and we see the good and the bad, but it's wild, yeah.
Do you enjoy, when you were talking about the oil change that you have and that you give them then this printout of the health of their car, basically? Obviously, you're a car lover, and so you want to see those cars last as long as they can. So do you enjoy being able to share that with a customer, and that way they can plan for what's going to come next?
I do. It's really odd how just servicing a customer's car, you have a tendency to get attached to it a little bit. I've had multiple customers in the end, towards the end of their car's life, where it's got 300,000 miles on it, and the car's still in good shape. The interior is still nice. It still's got paint on it and whatever. And they're like, "Well, I'm just done with it. I'm kind of over it, and I'm ready to move on to something else." And I actually purchased the car from them because I liked it so much. It's happened a time or two, but you do really get attached to not just the cars, but the owners. We go, way back with a lot of our customers.
Well, and the truth is, most people are attached to their cars. It's hard to let a car go. There's like a mourning period that happens sometimes. So when you mentioned the 300,000 miles, I don't have a lot of time left, but that's not unusual to be able to get that kind of mileage or more if you take care of it.
Especially with synthetic oil changes.
Okay, so here, I'll let him set us up for the tease then. So it's called the Pumpkin Spice Oil Change. You're running it kind of for the fall season. It's not just the month of October.
Right.
So call them at 238-7600. It's Import Motorworks. Technically, they're in McDonald, but they're just off the Ottawa exit, a stone's throw down. You will find them, and I think you don't work on the weekends.
That's
Is that right?
Yep.
He has a family too, and he wants to be there with them. But give him a call. They will take care of your car. And if you have a Mini, you don't have to travel out of town. He can take care of you.
That's right.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
How long have you been putting off that outdoor project? Get it done now, get it done right with Cut Right Tree Service. Building site prep, basements, footers, lot clearing, swimming